All right, we back, yo. Snapp in the building. Hope y'all enjoying this convo so far. Diving a little bit into the tuts. Wizard. I might have to grab that. I might have to grab my laptop to see this.
Bro,
So,
I
so
think
this guy Wizard, he's like a tall, skinny white dude.
I don't know if he's even tall, bro. He's just like this skinny white dude, and yo, bro, his tuts were incredible. And this was like 2007, 2008, bro. And it's
Okay,
like,
is he
bro,
like he's like super skinny, right?
he's skinny as fuck. I think he was wearing a long sleeve shirt too on the video.
Yeah, he's in a studio.
I think he's in his room, bro.
Oh shit.
Bro, if I show you this clip, you'll trip out, bro. Anyways, there's a few of them. Like there's him, there's Dima Worm. There's a few cats, bro, that had like the tuts on smash at a very, very, very high level.
Yeah, I know there was that, there's this one clip that's really, it's old, bro. Like one of the first YouTube clips, but it's a really skinny dude and he's just like he's hitting with his pops, but he's super skinny. But the way that he flips his wrist is like so perfect. He goes
Oh
big.
yeah, 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 yeah. I know, and he's tall and skinny.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
has
that's
like
who I thought you were
blonde
talking
hair.
about. Yeah,
Yes, yo, he was dope too. He was clean lines, bro. Long arms,
super clean.
bro. Some of the cleanest stuff. But
That's
it
not
was
fair though. His body's aligned.
that's big facts.
He
That's
had
big
zero
facts.
bumps. Like, yo, he hit one of these. There was no biceps, no forearms. Yo, that shit was like two rulers stuck together. Like,
Yo, big facts, bro. Big facts. Holy smokes. Yeah, man. Yeah, 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 definitely. And I seen those guys. I'm like, bro, there's a whole, and I knew that it was around the world. And I was like, bro, there's a whole tutting scene. But we don't know about it. And I was
mhm.
like, yo, it has to be here, it has to be here. And I knew it was somewhere in Europe. I knew it was somewhere in Europe, and I knew there was like other scenes in the States. Um, but also New York had one too. There was a big flexes. They were called New Era. New Era, bro.
Yep,
And they inspired us too, man. They inspired us too.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
Kool-Aid, Liquid, Casper, all those guys, man. Shout outs to New Era, man. They
Yeah,
held it down.
Casper. Yeah, and Kool-Aid too. Yeah, man, all those guys. Like, I'm just writing those names down. These are people I forgot about, man. I'm like, shit. I remember seeing clips of them too. But yeah, it's so crazy to me that like there's these different scenes around the world, that we might fit perfectly in, but we don't know they exist. And there's people out there searching for people like us too that just haven't found a way to find us, or and I think that's the beauty of social media too. The more that we make videos like this, the more we talk, share ideas, the more shit we put out there, the people can find us.
Yeah, I agree. I think social media is a double-edged sword, though.
Speak on it, bro.
It's a double-edged
Speak on
sword
it.
because social media takes away people experiencing actually going to the source.
Yup.
For
Yup.
example, if we wanted to just vibe with the New York man, them we couldn't just go online and just like do online bat like it was different, bro. You got to go there. Same
Yeah.
with any style. You wanted to go there and represent and learn from the real source. But what social media did, it took away that experience and just say, well, you can learn it online. And then people were like, all right. So they stopped leaving their house and they just started going online and YouTube, and they just started learning rap it online. First of all, because it's cheaper. Second of all, because they were just like, you know what? it's more convenient for me to be in my house and just learn a tutorial off something than to go inside the hood, you know what I mean, inside some neighborhood in like Baltimore or some neighborhood in New York and just go
Yeah.
learn from the source. Like it just didn't make sense for a lot of people. But it's the beauty of social media is the awareness. I think that's what's dope about it. So it's double edged. Take away the experience, bring awareness. So it's like, oh my goodness, double
I
edged.
think there's a thing that the new generation's got to do. And I think you touched on it perfect. And there's a certain journey. When something's hard to get, you cherish it. And I remember going to spas like there's no way I should have been there, right? Well, actually, there's no way I could have been there or should have been there if it wasn't for dance, you know. I got passes because I was a dancer, but also when there's like this kind of mystery behind it and you're trying to like uncover it, you know, I consider us like our generation was like, yo, we set up the Silk Road, you know? Like there was the OGs and we're kind of like the first generation where it's getting passed down to the next generation. And the thing was is that we built this kind of road to all these different sources. And yeah, man, we were the adventurers. Like we kind of had to go and discover these things before. Now, when I first started, it was kind of like YouTube had just started getting going. So there was a couple clips up, but you know, I started off at Homeland in Long Beach. So when I first saw it popping, it was like I never seen that before. I never saw it. I saw people like Slim Boogie, you know, Tin Man, animatronics, Tetris, Long, all these guys, and then the OGs coming through. And I was just like, whoa, I didn't even know this existed. And then slowly had to start to work my way in and like, okay, you know, not everybody's just gonna answer your question on how to do that, you know. You gotta look and then you gotta be adopted in, you know, you gotta get put on. And I think that's also a catch 22 because I think it should be super open, but at the same time, like the new generation has to impose the struggle back on themselves. Like just because you've seen it on YouTube, like you need to go to the source and the culture and see it because you can't just pick that shit up through YouTube or TikTok or whatever, you know.
TikTok, holy smokes. No, you're right, bro. You're completely right. You know, I think the new gen is a little spoiled. Um, not because not because they wanted to be spoiled. It's just that's how it fell on their lap. You know, that's just it's yo, they were
Yeah.
born,
Yeah, they don't know.
they don't know this, they were born with social media. We were born in a time where there was no social media, and then social media came to play. So we were like, we were cool without it, right? And then when social media came into play, it like it ended it up. And then
Yeah.
so for us, we learned both sides of the struggle, you know.
Yeah.
And to a point, the no social media was dope, man. It kept it. Dog, I went to a party when I was younger, man. It was only like 40 people, right? But the energy in that room was crazy, and nobody had a camera. Nobody had anything. It was just like if you were there, you were there. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? If you seen what happened that night, then you seen what happened that night. It wasn't like, yo, take out a camera and record everything. I'm like, the fuck you guys doing, bro? Like live in the moment type of vibe, you know?
Yeah.
So, um, but it's all good though. It's all good. It's just that we gotta remind them that yo, come back and live in the moment and do this and do that. And you know, it's all good. It's just about us guiding the youth. And
Yeah.
but here's another thing I'm gonna speak on, which what I want your opinion on too, is I think the younger generation is not asking as much questions.
Mm.
I'll tell you why. Because nowadays their OG, their bigger brother is Google. is YouTube, is
Mm,
anything. Before, we didn't know anything, right? Who would we ask?
the person.
We would we would ask motherfucking Uncle Leroy, you know what I mean? We would ask whoever it is, you know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
would ask because we don't know. We don't know where the source is. We would go and literally ask the OG, the older bro, the older cuz, everybody. But now I think because social media is around, you don't need to ask anybody. It's kind of like you could just search it up. So now the OG is kind of like he's still there, but he's only second to the to social media. If you
Yeah.
can't really find anything, then you ask the OG. You know,
Yeah.
so I was really looking into that. I'm like, damn, man, like the younger generation needs to understand that, you can't buy experience, bro. You gotta live it. And that's another subject between. That's why I don't really understand how these young teachers, young kids are teaching now, because at the end of the day, it's experience that they gain to pass on.
Yeah.
So there's so much into it, but at the end of the day, it's like, what do you think? What do you think of the young gen? Are they asking questions? Are they chilling? Are they, finding shit out by themselves? Are they, you know what I'm saying? What do you think?
Yeah, it all depends on the individual, but I think, we got shout out to Nico in the building. He's on watching right now. He's the younger generation out of LA, but he's doing it right, man. He's going to the OGs. Yup, exactly. See?
Shout
Right there.
out, shout outs.
Yeah, so he's a younger cat that's doing it right, but I think the idea of like them not asking that many questions anymore and that sort of stuff, it's becoming a cultural thing. Like, like even with us, like we Google shit all the time too, but um honestly, it's hard because even like I don't even see that much of an influx of poppers coming from the next generation. I don't even see like who are the young poppers besides a couple. There's really not that many that I've seen. So maybe I'm just not connected to that, but I couldn't tell you if they were asking questions or not. Most of the people that I teach and that I know, they're in their 18 and over. They're probably 18 to 30 is probably the main age group that I come across, and mostly males, right? And that are trying to learn how to pop, unfortunately. But uh, there are a few ladies that are holding it down too. But I think it's really important for man, because even if you go to China, they're taught not to ask questions. They're like, you got to fit in line, and asking a question may be shameful, just by standing out and being different. So I think it also depends on your culture. But I think the problem is why popping might not be growing that much is because people are they don't want rules, man. They want to create, they want to feel free. They want a community that accepts them, and they want to feel good. So most people just gonna do choreo. Most people just gonna, people are just they're gonna do a choreo class, and then they're gonna feel good. They got to work out in, and they're part of a community. But what I would challenge even the choreo dancers to think about too is that, like, the harder shit is to learn, the more rewarding it is. Um, when you're able to do it. And the harder something is, the more and more you go to a community that's really withstood the struggle of learning something difficult. So that's the type of community that you're going towards. If you get something that's kind of easy to get at, that's your entry level. Everybody got to go through that. But to go deeper is like, just realize that you're also getting quality of community as you go deeper as well.
That's facts. That's facts.
Yeah,
So,
I'm curious, man, because like your example, like more recently, so you were part of this dance hall culture in Toronto, and then more recently you went to Jamaica.
yes.
So what was that like, man?
Bro, I felt like I've been there before, man. I felt like my past life, I feel like I've been there before because I was just like walking around and I was just like, making a right, making a left, and I was like, damn, I've been here before, shit, like, So I don't know, man. It was definitely a blessing. But we went to the source, like I was talking about, and we went into the hoods and we went into the ghettos and yo, bro, we seen some shit, you know what I mean? Like dudes calling you over, like, yo, come here, and then you just have to you just have to keep walking, bro. Like you can't stop, nothing. It's real, So, yeah, man, we went to the source. It was incredible. It was incredible. Stayed at a hostel and everything. So, it was.
What so what was the source in Jamaica for dance
Um,
hall?
it was like there was OGs and there was the new school heads that were out are out right now, and they would teach also like middle school, old school, and some of their grooves as well. So it was like learning a bit of where they came from, but understanding there's a foundation to it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's definitely dope. It's definitely dope. I think dance hall is huge, and a lot of people they only see what was in the music videos. Like they
Mm.
only see like, the whining and the hip shaking and stuff like that. And people are like, oh, I guess that's dance hall. It's like, no, man, like there's a whole foundation to it. And then once I break it down, because people come up to me, ask me that all the time. Once I break it down, then they go, oh shit, damn, I didn't know about this. And then that's when, they dig
So
deep into it. Yeah.
what would you consider the foundation of dance hall to be then? Like
So
if you were breaking it down for somebody.
it would be like the foundation would be like in dancehall there's party groups as well.
Yeah.
Like they did that in the party group. So it was everything that was in the 80s and 90s. That's what we consider old school.
Mm.
Yeah, everything that was in the 80s and 90s. And there's like foundation to it. There's grooves.
Yeah.
There's steps and moves and what to do, what not to do. And it came from lifestyle.
Mm.
And it came from the lifestyle, just like how in New York when they were creating some of the hip hop grooves, it came from a lifestyle or a TV show that they seen or
Ah.
same thing.
Yeah, yeah. So then the middle school and the new school were built on top of those old school
Exactly. Exactly.
wow,
So
okay.
middle school would be like early 2000s
Yeah.
to like 2010.
And so like when I'm looking at dance hall and I mean I know like you can instantly spot old school, new school, middle
Yep.
school, all that. But can the new school just go like, hey, this is a new move? Can they just do that? Can they just like deem it, manifest it into reality, and it's part of the new school?
You mean new school dance hall dancers?
Yeah, like can somebody just go like, hey, this is the new move? Like they just make some step up?
Yeah, yeah. Like it's definitely you gotta contribute as much as you can to it. Um and I was listening to one of your interviews with Boardman, OG
Yeah.
Boardman, and you were talking about when does somebody feel like appropriation versus appreciation,
Uh,
and when you asked that question, and he was like, when you guys start contributing. Remember when he said that?
uh, uh,
So it's the same vibe. It's like when a lot of the new school dancers are contributing, right, to the culture, and it only picks up. It only picks up if it gets done in the parties.
I see, I see. Okay, okay, I get it. So it's like the concept of when it's one person can't just make it a cultural thing. Like the you could do that dance move on your own, but if nobody's feeling it, it's not part of the new school. It's not it's
Exactly.
not tracking, you know? So
Exactly.
um the thing Boardman said was that I was asking him, you know, when does the culture adopt innovation? And he said, when it's dope.
Yo, shout out to Lord, man. Yo, it's
I was
true.
like, yo, that's so he did it like so quickly, like he just snapped it. I wasn't even finished talking. He was like, when it's dope,
That's what,
when it's dope. Just yo, it's gotta be good, man. It's gotta be good before a culture can adopt it, you know? So yeah, I feel that. So do you feel like there should be some sort of distinction between like, could you do that same thing with popping, like old school, middle school, new school?
man, there's so much politics with popping, bro. There's so much
That's why
politics.
nobody wants to get involved in this, you know?
So much politics, bro. I mean, yo, as much as you would want to, as much as you'd want to be like, bro, like this is the new popping, people would shut your shit down, bro. People would be like, the fuck is this, boy? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I want to say I have hope for it to change and, people add on to it. But I don't know. I don't know where this is. You know, I mean, for tutting, I see it. For
Yeah.
tutting, I do see a foundation, and then people adding on and contributing and adding a new style and flavor and da da. I see it, you know. But when it comes to like popping, I don't know.
So this brings up a really good, oh man, I just got a good light bulb going. So look, so when you look at dance hall culture and you have like the OGs of dance hall and you see, okay, the middle school and the new school, and are there's something about the framework of that culture that allows people to go, the OGs go like, yeah, that's dance hall, you know? Or the OGs always like, nah, that ain't the real shit.
That ain't, that ain't the real shit. The truth is, if there's a groove to the thing that you're trying to promote, or if there is, because the groove is the foundation of dancehall. There's a certain groove to it, there's a certain, if you do not add that in anything that you're doing, it doesn't get the pass.
Ah, okay.
It's like
Yeah.
you can't be like, oh, look at this dance hall, and it's like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? Like, dog,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
people will call your shit out. They'll be like, that's not it, bro. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I think that's what I'm saying with popping. It should be open, man, because anything with a hit should be allowed in, right? It's popping.
Right? Shit.
Anything should be allowed in. Shit. If you're hitting and you're popping, then it should be allowed in there. And like, see, now my question is, if you're stopping, if you're stopping, is that a hit or are you just stopping? Because
Yo.
see,
Uh,
this is where I get in trouble because look, I'm like, look, our goal as poppers, right? The only reason somebody really wants to pop is because they want to crack that sound. So it should be the only reason. So that when you want to hit that sound and you want to make a sharp effect, it doesn't have to be on the 2 and 4. It doesn't have to be any of that. It doesn't have to be on the boom cat. It's really like you really wanna bring that sound out. You can make a sharp contrast of movement. So when you think about it like that, it's way more open. We're just trying to yeah, accent the sound with a pop. That's it. Or a shake or a stop.
that's facts, man. That's facts. I think, I mean, all this, like the OGs and everything, soon we're gonna be the OGs.
You're like, Man, soon we gonna be the OGs.
You know what I'm saying? Soon we gonna be the OG. Like no, like for real. But you know what's dope though is because we think like this, right? Because we think of um like evolution and elevation. That means I personally think that it could go that direction. Maybe not in the next 2 years, maybe not in the next five, but I mean, I'm talking about in the next 30, 40. Like it could go in that direction just because we, the OGs, now, when we get, we're
Old.
gonna be open minded to it, and we're gonna, you know, we're gonna give them the green light, bro. And
Mm,
we're gonna say, bro, like, do it up. Make sure you guys like just create and keep the style going. And I think the reason why a lot of styles are growing and popping isn't isn't growing as fast as everything else is because there's like such strict rules with it. Like you got to know this, you got to know that. If you enter in a competition, you won't make it. If you do this, there's so much detail to it that it kind of kills their vibe. And at the same time, it goes, you know what, man? Maybe I'm just gonna do a 1-2 choreo, film it, have some content, put it on social media. You know what I mean? Get
yeah.
validated, and that's it. Like instead of encouraging the youth to be like, yeah, keep going, do this. Let's just add this, do. Instead of just like being like, nah, you didn't make it. Next luck. No, no, no. It's like very cutthroat.
Yeah. Well,
So
I think if we relate it to like I mean, of course there are OGs like, shout out to my OGs that like have been promoting, I would call it freedom of speech, right? Like if you really talk about freedom of speech, like no doubt, like every time I come in contact with the OGs, they tell me I gotta hit harder, but but they're like, oh, that was fire, but you gotta hit harder, like if you really want to say, I'm like, all right, word. But the thing is, I think when it comes to, if you look at it politically, like whenever you inhibit freedom of speech, what are you promoting? This is not a dictatorship. This is not something where you have to make it a democracy, man. That's at the end of the day, this is a collective of people. And I think, unfortunately, what's happened, is like even the generation before me, uh, they were so heavily influenced by seemingly a dictatorship. Um, and I think at the end of the day, I think what social media is going to do too is there's going to be like elected officials, and I think people, you can call it what you want, but freedom speech is going to go on regardless. There's the underground railroad. There is going to be people that are trading ideas. There's going to be people that are going to evolve with you or without you, because creativity is going to be, that's something people need, and you can't hold that down. So it's like you got to get with it or not. That's it.
do you think that there's gonna be a new style that has tutting involved in the future?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. I think it's already happening. Uh, I think what's there, I think the watered down shit is already a style. To us,
Yo,
it's, I think
the
when I
water
see all
down
these
shit is already a
people,
style. Holy smokes.
there's already a style. It's TikTok. It's like you basically have an app and you have celebrities that, okay, we can slow down the song. Okay, hold on, ready? I can't really do this, but I'm gonna do it on a slow one, and I'm gonna be like king, king. And when I speed this up, it's gonna like king, king, like super clean. So basically, there is a technological touch style that already exists. they're using technology to enhance their skill. And it's like the first era of cyborg dancers.
Wow. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, so we're dancing with technology now, and I think this is where the traditionalists, like ourselves in some ways, but even before us, were way more traditional. We're looking at that like, nah, that's not the shit, right? Like the OGs were looking at us like, nah, that's the shit. What we have to do is we have to adapt in the sense of what can we do with like real skills with technology that will set us apart from the people that need technology.
That's facts. That's facts because we already got the skills. That's the only thing we got to get to is learn how to use the new technology that's coming out now,
Yeah.
and elevate our skill because our skill like it speaks for itself, man. So it's like we don't need technology like that. You just put a camera down and we can throw down and then it'll be illusional, it'll be dope, it'll be fundamental, it'll be creative as fuck, it'll be mud like so. I don't know, man. I just think that the new gen and us, like it's gonna be interesting to see where this goes, man. It's gonna be interesting because,
It's
bro,
gonna be soup, bro. I mean, the quarantine and this type of stuff that's happening right now, it's forcing us to be technologically integrated. So like there's really not much choice. So this isn't going to be the first time this happens. You know, this will happen again. But what people are starting to realize is what is deemed financially essential. You know, for example, like with events, like, well, shit, can we get away with just throwing on online battles? That's what
fact,
studios are thinking. You know, that's
fact,
because really, if I'm gonna put this out there, but if I'm a business owner and I say, I got a studio or whatever, but why not just make that shit all online? I don't need a physical location. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna generate some money. I'm gonna throw an online battle. I'm gonna get a lot of followers. I'm gonna make people have to tag people. You know, you got to follow this account to enter, and then you're gonna get an entry fee. Put out a thing. You start developing all these followers because you're putting out money, and then whenever you post any of your content, it's gonna get a ton of viewership because now you have a ton of followers. So now you just basically developed an audience and you developed basically an online TV show for dance. And why would you need a physical location for that when everybody's got their living room and a camera?
that's the thing I was talking about. Social media equals cancels out the experience, but it brings awareness.
Yeah,
So there's so much to it, man, and like I think that what we're doing is obviously like trying to pass down the knowledge, but we got to adapt with the times or else we're going to get left behind.
yeah.
So it's like as much as I want to be like, you know what, we keep it in the studios, we keep it in the ciphers, keep it at the parties. It's like shit, we might have online parties now, bro, where you know,
Bro, can you imagine? I'm
yo,
like
you have
pouring shots right here. Like, come on, man.
there's people bringing in like bottles. Like what's happening?
No, man, it can't happen. I think what's going to happen though, I think it's going to be a mixture of both. I think when we come together, it's going to be magic, man. But I think majority of businesses are going to be shifting to online. So I think it's really important that people get set up for that, but also like take advantage of that. Because also as a dance business owner, think about how hard it is to get physical sponsorship when you throw an event. But when you're talking about online traffic, bro, dancers, talk about how many people trying to go viral with something like that's not dance, right? You might get one of those little kitty videos to go viral, but when it comes to like going viral with dance, dancers are crazy at creating traffic, like online traffic. So then you're talking about ad space, online. So I think this is something our community really got to get on. And I say these ideas openly because I don't, man, it is what it is. I think we got to stick together in this shit, you know?
Facts. Facts. Do you think that um tutting is going in the right direction right now?
I think it's getting bigger. I think it's getting bigger. It's getting huge. I think it's getting huge. Like when I look on TikTok, I'm like, what? Um, and when I look at India and stuff, there's just the amount of people that are tutting. I think it's beautiful, man. I think there's a lot of people that would never have danced, but they found tutting, right? And maybe they don't feel like like when I started, I was a robot, so like maybe they don't feel like this right now. Maybe they're just doing like little snaps or like little finger tricks and stuff. But um, dude, anytime you can get people to just, connect with their body, connect with sound, I'm all for it, in a way, I think it's just a gateway to more connections, like more relationships and more, more friends, basically. We're all speaking a language. But as far as the rawness, uh, that's gonna, I hope it doesn't get lost in the mix. I think it's hard to say, man. The real recognize the real, But as far as the right direction, it's going in a direction, but it's just getting big.
Yo, we don't know what direction it's going, but yo, the
It,
direction is a lot of people are going towards it, and damn, bro, it's in the next couple of years, bro. In the next, let's just say, 5 to 10 years, tutting is gonna be it's gonna be worldwide, like where it's like there's gonna be competitions of only tutting every week, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
because tutting it doesn't have like it doesn't have the rules that these other styles do. So I think the growth is really really unlimited. I mean, tutting still might have some politics, but if you start calling it lines and angles and stuff, like nobody can really claim that because then you're talking, you can start hitting triangles, you can start hitting all this sort of stuff, like just shapes battles, something like that. And right now we're on boxes, but you see people that start to do like these slides, like with the hands like this, and
yep,
um,
yep.
there's all types of shapes we've been creating, So like even the finger stuff, man, it's getting crazy, dude. I think tutting, I think, is the future for a lot of the world. I think it's gonna get bigger than, and it already has. Who would have thought it would be as big as it is now? Like I think it's bigger than almost every dance style.
Wow. Wow. So do you think that it's gonna surpass popping?
Oh, it's surpassed it. I think. I think it's already surpassed it. Yeah. I think tutting. Look, tutting just in numbers alone. Um, if you just go like tutting tutorial online, like you go on YouTube, look at the viewership on that, bro. They're like millions and millions of views on these tutting tutorials, and you know, you look up like a hashtag tutting, and there's I don't know a damn person under that. you know, if I click on popping, like hashtag popping, I'll probably know almost everybody that pops up under it. But tutting, there's people that are starting every day.
That's facts, bro. That's facts. I was watching a online competition, like a tutting competition, and like a lot of those people, I had no idea who the fuck these people were, man. I'm like, and they were good. They were good. I'm like, damn, like I don't know who the fuck you guys are. Like, and you're right. It's grown to a point where, bro, we don't even know like the majority of the people, but like they know who we are, but like we don't know who they are, and like we
Yeah.
want to get to know them, right? But it's just like they're starting at such a rapid, like there's the growth is so that before you know the first one, there's like 70 more. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn, bro.
Well, that's what I think, it's like the entry. So like when you teach a class in popping, it's like if somebody like brings me for a workshop for an hour and a half, if for a basic popping workshop, I'm gonna be like, look, guys, let's be real. Let's be real. You guys ain't gonna learn to pop in an hour and a half. It's not gonna look dope. It's not gonna look dope in an hour and a half. But if I teach you this tut combo, you will have something to go show your friends and family at the end of this hour and a half. So what you guys want? What you want?
Yo, that is facts, bro. That is facts. It's like, bro, it's not gonna look cool, bro. You sure you want that? God damn, all right. I'm gonna look bad as hell. Like,
Like we could just do like this wave for a half hour and like y'all want that one or y'all want this? Like, it's like it's especially for people that are that have a choreo mindset as well. They're gonna grasp onto it like that because the systems that you present to them, their mind's gonna be able to remember it. For me, like my memory's so bad, so I got to create like flows. Um, and I just practice like real basic kind of like coordination drills opposed to like a set, which I always try and I always like love the people that do that shit because I can't. I'm like, dude, that combo is like so crazy. But that's just I never like for me to tap into my memory when I'm dancing is like it's like not the reason I dance.
how do you feel, um, like tutting, in LA? Like, and I know you got homies down there that tut as well. The Bay Area is close, so you can always go there for like a trip and just learn a whole, like, vibe with the turfers and etc. etc. But how do you feel, like, you see in the runners, in the moon runners, we have each other to you know inspire. We inspire each other. Like, somebody will do a concept or a blow up or a party, and we're like, damn, that just inspires us to go off and and try to level up. But how in with you though, you're not in like a tutting crew, or you're not in like, I don't know if you're surrounded with tuts around your area. Like, how do you stay inspired, tutting with with
Well, there was a session I was throwing for a little bit. Shout out to everybody that came to that. I threw it for a few months. It was called Los Angles. And
Los Angles? That's a heavy ass name. God damn.
yeah,
Los Angles. Oh
yeah.
shit.
So it was called Los Angeles, and it was like my poster was Los Angeles, like the skyline, and then the Los Angeles in Old English, and the E fell off.
Oh,
So the E was like falling off. It was Los Angeles,
bro, did you slap it on a shirt, bro? Because I
dude.
want
I gotta
that,
slap that
bro.
on a shirt, bro. I got to, man.
Los Angles. God damn. All right.
But when this quarantine's over, I'm gonna start it up again. But I think it ended partly because like I was going through a real tough time personally, like just ending a relationship, and that was like last year. But it was kind of like I was throwing it at the park near the crib that I was living at with my ex. So it was kind of like I moved to another part of the city, and I was living in North Hollywood. So it was like, everybody's pulling up. So,
Yeah.
um, and I had a lot of people coming through. So, yeah. So I think it's gonna start back up. Shout out to Mad Lines too. So Mad Lines, there are a few tutters in LA, like well, actually, Dizzy is out here from Atlanta. So, like, I was chilling with him sometimes.
Dragon House.
Um, yeah, Dragon House. Then you got like ET's out here. But I don't see him very often. He doesn't come out too much.
There's
But
another there's another um flexer from New York, but he lives in LA. Soup.
Yeah. Soup is out here too. Yep.
Yeah, Snoop
Yeah.
is
So I'll run into Soup at the battles and stuff. But there wasn't like much personal connection with the people that moved here, you know. There wasn't much like so I started throwing instead of the Los Angeles, I started throwing another session called the Movement Co-op. So I wanted to start integrating all these the idea is the co-op is like you know you have like the stores that are co-ops. You have farms that like are contracted with the store. So directly from the source to the store and people are buying local organic and raw. Know what I'm saying?
That is a diesel brand for sure, bro. For sure. You
The
gotta go
movement co-op,
straight from the
yo.
farms into the market, from the market to the stores. I'm like, oh my goodness, man.
No, but the idea is like, yo, it's local, raw, and organic. That's what we talking about. So it's like you have this idea where anybody's welcome. It could be, you know, poi artists, it could be, you know, flow artists, different flow artists, it can be housers, flexers, jukers. Like I just wanted everybody to come under one roof, you know? Um, and I was doing that just before the quarantine. So that'll get going again. The hard part with that is getting a music that everybody likes. That's the hardest part. So I had a DJ come in, but and he's dope, but there's always somebody like, yo, can you drop this like this style track real quick? And I'm like, okay. Yeah, so I think it's gotta be more of a night where I got multiple DJs, you know?
Oh, wicked, wicked, wicked. I mean, it'll be the future, man. If like people, it's almost like bringing back the rave scene. You know what I mean?
Oh, let's do it.
But it's like for tutting and like you know liquid and it's like bro, it's you know when I was younger, I seen a clip of LPC Eric, and I seen him like doing the threads. You know what I'm saying with
Yeah,
with the liquid. I was like, God damn, bro! And I took that and I infused it with tutting. You know, like
yeah,
angles ha, into into liquid. So it's like, bro, shout out to Eric LPC. There's so many of them, and it's dope just to see that inspiration. And I feel like they were doing something that like what we were doing, just pushing it, pushing it, pushing. They don't know who's watching. They're just doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then
yeah,
people were like, "Yo, that's dope, that's dope, that's dope." And you know, whenever I go inside like a popping battle, like somewhere around the world, people always come up to me and they go, "Yo, man, I watch your shit, bro, and." You know, you inspire me to do this, this, this. I'm like, the fuck? Like, it
yeah.
reached your city? Like, bro, the power of social media is crazy. And we were just doing it out of our creation. And it was like, have you ever you seen the Detours video?
Oh yeah,
It's
100%.
it was we felt like that because you know Midas lives here now.
Yep,
So
yep.
it's like I get down with Midas all the time. Shout out to Midas. But he like that era, like the Detours movement, how they were just creating and pushing and da da da. We feel like that as well with the runners, how we were pushing and you know we're still doing it and we're still in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like you know in our 30s. You know what I'm saying? And we still
Yep.
pushing and trying to you know bang bang bang. So yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I think Detours and LPC, man. Like, so when you talk about Elsewhere, Midas, those guys, like, and then you got LPC, those guys were also like, when I first started popping, I was watching Detours, like that. I was always intrigued by the like the abstract and the illusion. So when I saw Elsewhere and I saw like those dudes in Midas and the threads, it was just like, yeah, where is this? You know, almost everybody would be looking the same, but these guys are like anomalies, like they're aliens.
Bro.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I think that's something I got to get back to as well. Is like what I started realizing this quarantine was like, when was the last time you really learned some shit? You know, like Yeah, if I'm honest with myself, yeah, I'm growing as a person and I'm reading books and all. I'm always working. I'm like trying to be a better person and like working out and like training all the time. But like to really go and go, slow down, forget all your patterns, forget everything and learn some new shit. Like really. And yeah, I started doing it and I was like, damn, this is why I've been semi-depressed for the past 2 years. I'm like, I forgot what it was like to learn shit, you
Bro,
know?
bro, that's real shit. That's real shit, bro. That's real
Yeah.
shit.
Being creative, man. You got to.
We looked at it as a game, almost like, like a pinball game where it was like ding ding ding, and we just like touch. We would like we treat it like a like game and like checkers and chess and Monopoly, and we would just like take it and play with it, see what we can come up with, and we felt so good every time we did it. And then once you put on a different cap on, like a teaching cap, right? You start you almost start learning, but in a different way, like how people learn, how this, but in terms of
Yes.
how you keep creating in your own thing, it lessens down to a point where you're like, bro, I'm not learning anything, bro. Like, you need to like fuel yourself at the
Damn.
end of the day, bro.
Man, you hit that shit on the head, bro. That's what it is. It's partly like when you become like someone that people are looking for basics or like, learning and stuff, and you gotta like really break down what you're doing and how people learn exactly. It's an art form in itself to reach people where they're at in their journey. It's so difficult. So it becomes a strategy game. And yeah, but you got to protect yourself, like you got to really also give yourself space and time to create and figure out what feeds your soul and love. That's actually, man, this is the conversation I had with Pop and Jay when he was just out here in January. Bro was just dropping like knowledge, bro. It was so simple, the message he gave me, and it was so beautiful at the same time. Like he shifted my mind in a lot of ways. And I might have said this before, but I always said like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm training, I'm working on this. He's like, bro, you're good. Like, he's like, you're on the path, man. It's only a matter of time before you like blow up. And I was like, he's like, yeah, but and then I would be like, oh, my problem is this, and like he'd be like, man, no problem, no problem, just part of your journey, bro, just part of your journey. And he would just talk like this. And I asked him, I said, man, you're one of the most consistent dancers. See, my problem is this. I always like can't find the same mental space when I get down. So when I go to a different place in the world or a different song or whatever, I'm not in the comfort of my community. I can't get off like I normally do. And he said, hey man, no problem. It's just part of your journey. But I said, what do you do, man? What do you do? You're one of the most consistent, masterful dancers I ever seen. He said, I said, how much you practice, bro? He said, I don't really practice too much anymore. Like in the beginning you do. But then he's like, now what I do is my practice is nurturing my love for the dance and the music. And I was like, whoa.
Who who
I
said
did
who said that? Who said this?
Pop and Jay.
Poppin' J.
And
Oh.
he's like, I just want to like, all I'm concerned with is nurturing my love for this movement. And I was like, whoa, bro. I said like, at that moment, I was like, man, my love for this movement, it was like, it was like, like your girl or your wife, she been doing it, like you guys been around each other for years, but you forgot to love each other. Like that's how it felt like with me and dance. I was like, I haven't even thought about that. I was just drilling and fucking, like really like trying to like fucking, like I'm trying to push my way through it, progression. Like I'm gonna force it. I'm gonna use everything I got, and then like love got lost along the way. I just did it out of discipline. So I had to reevaluate. Like, okay, this dance is much more than just a physical practice. This is like, okay, your dance is going to reflect your emotional state as well.
Facts. Facts.
Man.
That's facts, man. That's facts. It's true, man. It's true. The music is the key, man. Is the key, and like you know, Jay was right. You gotta nurture it. You gotta love it, man. And sometimes we get lost in the sauce. You know, get lost in the sauce, thinking about patterns and thinking about concepts and thinking about this. But ultimately, you're moving to the music, and the music, you know, guides you. You know, I remember what Sugar Pop told us a story one time, and he's like he was in a competition one time, and I can't remember who told him. And they were saying, um, they were saying everything. The music will tell you exactly what to do. Everything's in the music. And then he was actually like waiting to hear like if the music was gonna tell him something, like you know what I'm saying? Like, cause they were
Like literally.
like literally, like he was waiting, and then they're like, "Oh no, you don't." Like they were like, "Bro, the music will tell you, will guide you, right?" So, and it was about more of the feeling when you hear the music, and it's not so much about, um, like so much about like trying to drill a foundation at that time, and it's just about the moment, the moment. And you know who told me about that was Frank Boogie. Shout out to Frank Boogie Brats. He told me, he said, no matter how dope you get, bro, it's all about the moment and the moments in life. And I was like, okay, what are you talking about, right? He's like, if you're not feeling it one day, then it's gonna come out and dance. And
Mm.
it's about the moment that you have every time you cipher, that moment. Some people, when they get inside that cipher, they black out. Boom. And it was probably one of the best moments of their dance journey. It's like that moment. It's like in life, that's all we have is moments. And I relate that to dance so much. It's like, wow, that's that's what I want. Is I want to have moments in life where dance and I black out, you know, throughout the music and love and da da da. So it's like the moments are so precious to us. So, and it starts with the music. So
Yeah, man, 100%. And then you got community around you too. And like when you were saying that, like, do I have any people I feed off of as far as tutting and stuff? Man, honestly, it's slim pickings, man, right now. And that's why, like, when I come together with you guys, I'm like, yo, it's like, man, I wish I lived here, man, because like it feels like instant, okay, connection, and we just start flowing, we start mobbing around the city, eating, and just talking, and then getting down, man.
yeah,
It's
man. Yo, bro, it's love. It's mad love, bro. Anytime you're in the city, bro, we're just like, yo, D Sizzle is in the building, bro. Let's go. Let's fucking
man,
go, bro.
I live for those moments, man, because it's like, yeah, as far as yeah, you guys were like the closest thing to like what I would consider a crew, is like when I came around y'all, it was like, man, these are my brothers, like
Bro,
and I was like, it felt like you were the people I grew up with.
bro, and that's real. And this is how the runners start. This is how the runners are. It's like it didn't start because we were looking for a b-boy or a locker or a pop. We were homies. Just like that. It was instant connection, bro.
Yeah.
Instant, instant, bro.
Instant, man. That's what it is, bro. Hey, bro, I don't want to soak up all your time, man, but thank you for this, bro. It
Bro,
was an honor.
bro, thank you, bro. It was a pleasure, man. It was a pleasure. And thank you for having me, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me, bro. If you do
Yeah.
any of these in the future, holla at me, bro. I want to
Yeah,
drop
for sure.
more.
We'll get you back on here, no doubt, bro. I'm gonna get Icy on here too, I think
Let's
next week.
go.
So
Let's go.
hell yeah, man. All right, brother. Stay well.
Respects, bro. Man, love.
Much love, bro. Peace.